My name's Jimmy.
What's up, you guys? Jimmy here, back with another review for you for Arrow. And this is episode number 16, and the episode is titled Suicide Squad, which this episode marks the very first appearance of my favorite team from DC Comics, the Suicide Squad. And this episode kind of is mainly supposed to be focused around their first mission, which actually Diggle is actually recruited, but both him and his ex-wife, who's a part of Argus, to kind of be a part of her team, which her Suicide Squad consists of Deadshot, Shrapnel, and Bronze Tiger. Small team, but in their first mission, they have to set out to take out a warlord, which actually, Diggle being a soldier, that's why he agrees to help. And this warlord is someone from Diggle's past when he was out in Afghanistan. So instead of seeing flashbacks of the island, we get to see multiple flashbacks of Diggle's time in Afghanistan and some of his history with this warlord. Now, but not only that, but we get to see a little bit more about Floyd Lawton, which I have to say he's always been my favorite member of the Suicide Squad from the comics. Which, we kind of learn about why he does what he does and that he has honor. So maybe somewhere deep down, he's good in some way. I mean, having honor shows that he's sort of good. But also, this episode follows the previous episode that told us about Slade's promise to come back and destroy everyone Oliver loves in his own act of revenge of what happened to Shadow. So Oliver, he's like worrying about everyone he loves. He's getting Roy to watch over Thea. I mean, he's trying to do his best to try to take down Slade. I mean, he's losing sleep. I mean, when he does, he has nightmares about Shadow, which, that brings that regret on his decision. And he also kind of pushes away Sarah. So, this episode, there was a little bit of lead up to this week's episode. I wouldn't necessarily say it's my favorite episode of the season. I would say, in a way, last episode was my favorite, which is funny thing was in season 1 when they had an episode like that. I was the same way. I was like, oh, this is my favorite episode of the season. But I have a feeling I might be liking one of the future episodes. Because who knows? You never know what's going to happen. You never know, really, if this episode's going to be your favorite or if a future episode's going to be your favorite. Because that's how shows are. Sometimes you just don't know until you actually see it. But I just want to say, spoiler alert for a sec. It's a minor spoiler on the episode, so if you don't want to hear a minor spoiler, I would suggest you just mute me, and I will put one finger up when I'm done talking about this spoiler. But this episode also shows a cameo of none other than Harleen Quinzel. I mean, it doesn't not say directly that it's her, but her being that and her history of being on the Suicide Squad in the comics, it kind of shows that it's her. You get to see a picture of her back, so it kind of looks like Harley Quinn. And plus, she talks about she's a therapist, and it actually looks like sounds exactly like the Harley Quinn voice. So, my theory, it's not a look-alike. It's just their way of bringing Harley Quinn into Arrow. And I would really love her to be a part of the Suicide Squad and kind of have the relationship her and Deadshot had in the comics. Because I thought that was awesome. She's like probably my second favorite member of the Suicide Squad. I guess maybe because I like crazy chicks. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why she's my favorite. But all in all, this episode was a cool way to introduce uh, a team into Arrow, because I doubt very seriously we'd ever see Justice League. But there is a but there are other villains that have been a part of the Suicide Squad. So yeah, so these were only the villains that appeared in the show season, the current season so far. So yeah, so I know I think they really don't have a reason to say, oh, no superpowers, because they brought in Deathstroke. Deathstroke is all about metahuman powers combined with his abilities as a military man. I mean, seriously, there's really no reason to not bring superpowered villains into the show. I mean, yeah, they've already introduced superpowered enemies that weren't superpowered, like Shrapnel or Black Canary, because in the comics she actually does do a shriek. But I'm really looking forward to next week's episode. Maybe not as much as I did with this week's on how excited I am, but nonetheless, I am really looking forward to it down below. But leave me your thoughts and opinions down below. And since this is the very first appearance of the Suicide Squad, I want to let you know, if if you do not have not read the comics, who is your favorite member of this Suicide Squad? And if you are a fan of the comics or have read the comics, let me know your member out of all members of the Suicide Squad. I would say mine is Floyd Lawton, Deadshot, and second would be Harley Quinn. Just let me know your favorite member down below. And my name's Jimmy, and until next time, bye.